Welcome to the Christmas Connection, where the magic of the season comes alive. Join your host, Dawn Mack, as she connects you to the heart of the holidays. From cherished traditions and inspiring stories to conversations with the people who make this time of year truly special. So grab a cup of cocoa, get comfy by the tree, and let's celebrate the joy of the season together. This is the Christmas Connection.
Hey friends, it's Dawn Mack, and welcome to the Christmas Connection. Today we're taking a trip to Havana, Florida to experience the dazzling magic of the Allison Christmas Spectacular. It's a family tradition that's lighting up hearts and skies across the community. Please enjoy my chat with the Allison Family and the Allison Christmas Spectacular. Well, I'm thrilled to welcome my special guest today, the Allison Family. It's such a joy to have you here. Thank you so much for joining me.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, I've got to start by saying that every tradition starts somewhere. And can you take us back to what first inspired your family to start creating the Allison Christmas Spectacular and sharing it with your community?
Yeah, so I guess that would be for me. My name's Daniel. I'm the creator, I guess, of the show. It was my childhood dream to plaster literally everything that I could find, every tree, every bush, every roof, every wall. I mean, whatever I could fit a light bulb on, put a light bulb on, right? And that dream finally came true back in Christmas of 2008. We started with just 40,000 incandescent static lights, nothing fancy, nothing, that we have now. And so we started out with that. And that was on just our own property. And then every year since, we've added something new. We've been very diligent to, roll out something new for everyone to come and see. And it has grown leaps and bounds, especially over the last 4 or 5 years. We introduced programming with the lights synced to music back in 2012. And then we switched over to all LED back in 2019. And then we started adding all of our neighbor properties on the street who wanted to have their properties decorated. We did it for them. We paid for the lights. We pay their power bill. We do everything, set up,
Wow.
take down, do the thing for them. So that way they could just, be part of the season, but don't have to worry about anything, right? And so that was a big thing that we added. And then we reached 1 million lights last year. We added a second venue right up the street from us. There's a tree farm, and they invited us to come and decorate their property, and we couldn't say no, right?
Right.
So that was our big undertaking last year, and that took us up to 1 million lights. Big milestone right there. Yeah, right. And then this year we're moving everything from the street, from our home street, over to that tree farm. And we're very excited to share the next chapter of our light show. And who knows where this thing is going to go, too.
Right, because I imagine the tree farm being tree farm is a lot bigger than your property, even your street. So how many more acres are you talking about? And how much of it are you actually putting lights on?
Yeah, so we talked with the owner yesterday, and she confirmed that it's 29 acres.
Wow.
So it's a lot of real estate. It's really nice. But it's nice that we're able to move everything on there onto a single venue, and to kind of fill in a lot of the gaps that we didn't quite get to last year, right? A lot of the dark spots, really fill it in. I don't know how much, do you guys think how much of the tree farm we're actually doing? Because they live in the back, so that's a good chunk of it is not part of the drive through. So maybe half?
I'd say half.
Wow.
So 15 acres, if
Oh my goodness.
But we're trying to, use what we have, right? And remap everything. That's the big challenge that we're, working with now. We don't want to just have the lights barf everywhere, if you will, to just say, oh, we reached the 1 million mark again, right? I don't think we'll quite reach that, just because we're making sure that everything from the street makes sense up there and it maps properly. It's a good quality show, as we're known for, right? And so I think we'll reach 800 to 900,000 this year. I think we'll find out with everyone else what our final light count is once we're all done, and then next year our goal is to be back up to the 1 million mark, and then from there. So, yeah,
Well, 800 or 900,000 lights is still a lot of
not
lights, you know.
not too shabby, right?
It's not a million, but it's up there. Now, I have to ask, is it just the three of you that does all of this, or do you have a whole slew of people that help? Or I know I've seen posts where your grandparents are involved sometimes, but
Right.
so it's just the three of you
It's
handling
us
all of
and
this.
grandma, and that's
Oh
it.
my gosh, that's
It's true
incredible.
family, labor of love is what we've been told, and that's true. I mean, it really is. So
Yeah, for
love
sure.
everything.
Well, when you first began, did you ever imagine that it would grow into the incredible show that it is today? And what were those early years like as the display started to take shape? You spoke a little bit about that, where you
Right.
just put lights on any and everything, and then you kind of got into the synchronized light shows and stuff. But so it really has been an evolution since 2008, it seems like.
Big way, yes. Never dreamed that it would be up to this point. Just wanted to put lights up, right? And it
Hmm.
started on our yard, right? Never thought we'd be expanding to neighbors' properties, second venues. I mean, there could be more venues. We had more venues open up since people found the background of, you know, a, a bunch of things that went on the street. And we made the final call to make the move to the tree farm. But, since that happened, we had multiple venues open up. I think one was an airport, if I recall right.
Wow,
So who knows where this thing could go,
that's
in the
true.
next few years. So
That's true. I mean,
for the
when you
ride.
think about it, lights at Christmas time are what is like the highlight of everyone's season, whether it's on trees in your home, tree lights outside of your home. Going to look at lights. I mean, I'm from the South, so that's always been as if you couldn't tell, but that's just such a big thing. I live in a small town, and we've had a couple of places, where the houses go all out, but nothing like what you are speaking about. And if there is anything close, you've got to drive 45 minutes down the road, to go to a big park or something. But it's just fascinating, especially when you can see the synchronized light show, and it's really hard to wrap your head around like how that all works. I've always been fascinated by that, how it all kind of syncs and everything, but I mean, that is truly, like you said, a labor of love for sure.
And it has to be, right? Because
Yep.
it has to show. And that's why we do it.
Yeah.
It's a big thing. And we're very humbled, I guess, to see where this thing has progressed over the years, where it's going. God's at the very core of everything that we do, and we're excited for all that He does next. Because, as we share, I mean, it is His show. It's not ours. It's Him that we share, and we love to share that Jesus is the reason for the season, and
Hmm.
that's why we do what we do.
Yeah.
And
And
it's
I
a
think
huge
there's
labor of love.
there's no better way to, kind of capture that than with the light show. Because when you think about the North Star leading the wise men to Bethlehem, and how that kind of, I think lights in general just is born out of that. We're all called to be a light, and so
Right.
it's just so synonymous with that. From the outside, when you go and look at lights, it looks like pure holiday magic, as you know. We all know a lot of hard work goes into it. What's something that people might be surprised to learn about the preparation or the planning that goes into making it all happen every year?
You want to take that one? Do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, like last year, we started during the month of July to start putting
Yeah.
everything up because then we had found out that the Havana Christmas Tree Farm wanted to have, at least 300,000 lights put on their property alone. That's after putting up 732,000 lights on 4 properties on Sandy Creek. So it takes about 4.5 to 5 months to set everything up. And then people ask the question, how long does it take to take everything down and put it away? That takes 2.5 to 3 months.
Oh my.
And we organize everything and put them on shelves in our garage, in my mother-in-law's garage, the grandma, and And then the bases of the mega trees, they come apart and we stack them up behind our house. And then I put a plywood roof on top of that and they become their own maintenance shed.
It's just I followed you guys on social for a long time and I watched the transition, the progression. And really, like, especially last year, because Daniel, you were so good about documenting everything. And I was like, how is he posting to social when he's putting up I mean, it's a
Right.
time consuming thing. Social media is in and of itself,
It is.
even if you're not putting up lights. Okay.
True.
So I was just amazed because it seemed like you no more had everything packed away. And the next thing I knew, there was a post, we're going to start putting up lights in. And I'm like, they've only had about 6 weeks break, it feels like, you
These
know.
people are nuts. Yes, we are. Yeah. So it's really like
Yeah.
3 months of downtime, if that. I mean, although during that time we're full force planning, ordering things in the off season, while things are fairly cheap, quote unquote,
Mhm.
right? And it's really a no break, really. But it's always on our mind, right? What can we do next?
Right.
It's
You're
just,
always planning for the next season.
right.
It's if you're going to do it, that you've got to have a plan.
Yeah.
So the holidays are all about family and togetherness, as we know. And how has putting on the Allison Christmas Spectacular shaped your own family traditions and holiday memories through the years?
I'll try that.
Yeah, I think just probably spending time together and working together and just balancing time that we might need here at home, just with household chores, basic chores, with getting the lights up and together in a timely manner, as Daniel said, to try to avoid the all-nighters. And if not, we power through it. But if we can avoid it, that'd be great. So I think just that balance and time together and working together, I think that's probably the main idea there.
Well, I mean, I don't think there's any better way to, when you're spending this much time together daily, even over, all the time, really, to bond. I mean, you guys are doing something that is making a difference in the lives of people who are coming. You're putting smiles on people's faces, warming their hearts. There's a lot of nostalgia with Christmas lights too. And so people are coming with their own families and friends. And so it's kind of like you're paying it forward in a way. And you're getting to do something you love, but then it's for people who love it just as much as you all do, you know,
Mhm.
minus the work.
Yeah, right.
Minus the incredible work.
Yes.
Is there a particular section, decoration, or light feature that holds a special sentimental meaning for your family? Something that always feels like the heart of the show.
Right here. I would say Grandma's Snow is definitely the main showstopper piece of the show. We moved both my grandparents down back in 2015. They were in their, I think, upper 80s, low 90s at the time. And my grandfather has passed away since. So we still have Grandma, and she's almost 98. She'll be 98 in March. And they just moved down for mainly safety, right? Just with the snow and the ice. It just made sense. And my grandfather was I think he was about 5 years older than she was. So he wanted to move her down in case he ended up passing away first, which, ended up happening. But he lived till 98. He lived a great full life. And, we'll see how long grandma makes it, but we're trying to keep her, busy and active with everything, with all of the setup. But, with them growing up in Pennsylvania, they knew a white Christmas. They knew the snow, the ice, and they really loved it, right? But it just wasn't safe for them. So wanted to recreate a safe winter wonderland for her, right? And
Mhm.
so we placed down over 200,000 net lights. It used to be in her yard. Now it's going to be at the tree farm, and we just lay them out in a grid fashion. And it's very simplistic, very, I don't want to say basic, but it's very simple and it's meant to be. It's supposed to be clean, right? And
Mhm.
it resembles snow, right? And
Mhm.
we make sure to program it in the checkerboard fashion. And that grid is very, very, very uh, critical to get those the lines and the alignment correct and stuff. So, we used to use ropes on her property to get all the rows and everything straight. Thankfully, at the tree farm, they planted new trees. And
Oh, wow.
get this, this is not a coincidence. The trees are the same width as the rows that we set up on Grandma's property, right?
Oh, my.
And so we have no ropes to worry about. All of the horizontal, the vertical grid is exactly what we did on Grandma's property. Okay. 7.5 feet rows. And, it's the same for the columns and everything. That's a God thing, right? And
Yes, it is.
that
I was sitting here going, divine intervention
yes.
intervened. I mean, there's no way you can deny that.
No, right. And there's been so many things just one after the other, with the whole issues on the street and everything. And, that can be discouraging to a point, with all the legal matters that we went through. But we made the final call to move the show, right? And that was a big leap of faith to just say, okay, we're going to do what's best for us, for the public, for our neighbors, and ultimately for the show to keep that ministry going strong every year, right? And so we moved it and didn't know how we were going to map this all. And we knew that we had to move Grandma's snow, but we made it work. And we're actually going to have it on both sides of the road now, so people can kind of drive through it, if you will. And so it's kind of a new experience, but the same simplistic format. It's a greater thing than what it was on the street.
Oh,
So
yeah.
God knows what he's doing.
That's right. And it's just so interesting to me how, I've watched that journey with, the situation with the neighborhood and stuff, and just how everything has worked out and how it's just all come together. And all I could think as I seen your post about this, I was thinking, God's already got the plan. He already knows how this is going to go,
Right.
even beyond this year. And so all that had to happen to get you to Havana Farm so
Yep.
that he could continue to work in this, because with him at the center, he's going to grow it, because you've
Right.
made him the complete center of this whole thing. This is not about you guys. It's about giving to the community, and we're called to give. We're called to be servants. And in essence, you guys are servants to your community, and you're serving in a big way. And God knows this. And so he also knows how much it means to you all to do
Right.
this. And so he made a way. He made a way. He always makes a way when there
Always.
seems to be no way, right?
Right.
Right.
Amen.
So
And it's in his perfect timing. He opened up that farm to
that's
us
right.
last year. The tree farm owners approached us, asking us. I mean, we had it on our hearts too. It was kind of awkward to say, "Hey, can we put lights on your property?" Right?
Right.
They approached us and said, "Hey, we would love for you to decorate next year." And that was 2 years ago. So that was our first year was last year being up there. That was a whole God thing right there,
Oh,
because
yeah.
we opened that whole venue up. We got the kinks worked out last year, got people, used to the venue. We had to switch the traffic flow from their normal daytime hours just to not bottleneck on the main highway since they're right there. We got all the power in. That took, several weeks since they had to
Mhm.
bore it under the main highway to get, all of the power that we needed on site. So, it was so many things that worked out last year in preparation for this year. He knew beforehand that,
That's
we would
right.
be moving everything over, and here we are.
Well, I'm a firm believer there are never any coincidences in
Nope.
life. Everything
Right.
works out as it's meant to. And, because God ordains everything. And so it's just interesting to me how they approached you. He knew what was to come. You didn't, but he did. So he was setting the stage, so to speak, of that. And I think that's just beautiful. So, families, as I mentioned before, they now make visiting your display a tradition of their own. And so how does it feel knowing you become such a bright part of the community, in everybody's holiday season?
Just want to take that.
It's great. It just it gives you a feeling of fulfillment and knowing that we're carrying out what God would want us to, and having that unique ministry during the Christmas season. And people that otherwise would not even maybe give too much attention to the message that's produced through the light show, would come and listen, and be very welcoming to it just because of the season it is. So yes, it's very special.
That's awesome. And what's one, I know in all the years that you've done this show, you had to have had a moment or a story from a visitor that stayed with you, and maybe a comment, a child's reaction, or a memory that kind of validates why you keep doing this year after year. Do you have something that you could share?
Okay. You open? I could jump in. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, we have some close family friends that come every single night. I mean,
Oh,
every
wow.
single night. And I think this was last year or the year before. They would check in every single night, right? And they would share it. They would go live, and their daughter got to, she was in, I think, kindergarten when she first met me. And the mom, I went to the same school that she did, and I went to go talk to the mom, and she picked up her daughter, and she was like never wanting to like associate with anybody. She was just very introvert, right? She ran up to me and gave me the biggest hug, and the mom
Oh,
dropped over. She's like, "What in the heck?" Right? So we've become really, really close friends, and the daughter now is in high school, I think, because
oh,
they used to
wow.
come, like, when we first, started, right? Back in the, 08, 09 timeframe. And so yeah, she's in high school, and they are our like our biggest fans, if you will, right? And we see them every night, and you know, oh, they give us food. It's great. They drop off cookies.
And hand warmers.
Yes.
Awesome. That's
So
awesome.
I think that's the closest, to the heart story, I would say. I mean, we have so many, people come through, and we see the kids hanging out of the sunroofs, and they have like the van doors open, and kids are like hanging out, and just enjoying every minute of it. And
Soaking it all up.
right. And
That's awesome.
that's really what you want, right? And we have people travel hours away, right? I mean, like 4 or 5 plus
Oh,
hours.
wow.
People from up north, if they're visiting family, they make sure to come and see us. And what's nice about being at the tree farm too, I'll just add this, it's well, on the street, right? We lived on a cul-de-sac, so it was an in and out. It was nice for people to see the show once, and then, twice on the way out. And then, since it's free, we do tell people that they can loop through as many times as they want. But we couldn't get out and talk to people and do whatever because it just wasn't safe, right? And plus, people aren't
Mhm.
really looking for people. I mean, they're so entranced by the show and everything, and so they're just looking at the lights. So it just wouldn't be safe to be out there. At the farm, however, we're out there talking to people because there's more room and it's safer to be out there. So we're out there helping with traffic and whatever people might need to. But for people to say hi to us and us to them instead of just being behind a screen, right?
Right.
That is huge, right? And I
Hmm.
love that. And so that's another God thing, right? He knew that we needed to be out there and, seeing people, they with us and everything. And, it's just really, really nice. It's like I said, it's a truly humbling thing to watch everything come together, where this thing's going. And yeah, here we go.
Well, and one thing that comes to mind that I feel like too, the reason why you guys were moved, if you will, to Havana is because I imagine as you've grown through the years, the traffic has grown as well.
Right.
The community, you've just mentioned people drive from hours away to come and see it. And so every year it gets bigger and bigger. So you've had to have a bigger venue, if you will.
Yeah.
And if that means more lights, so be it. But at least now you can accommodate the traffic and the overflow, and your neighbors are happy, and it's just a win-win for everyone, you
That's
know?
right. Yeah. And,
And I feel like you're gonna have so many more lights as time goes on.
yes.
And
Yes.
so that leads me to my next question. So if you could dream up something new to add to the Allison Christmas Spectacular, no limits, what would it be?
You want me to do it? Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm the dreamer here. Well, the show, talking with the tree farm owners, the show's gonna consistently kind of be a living show, if you will, in terms of how the mapping's going to work, because they're going to constantly be planting new trees across their property. And, where the new trees are, people won't be walking, and there won't be any, like with the golf carts that they use to go, cut down a tree and everything, there won't be any of that traffic. So wherever those new trees are, we're free reign, right? Wherever
wow.
it is. So right now, Grandma's Snow is on a new lot that they planted last year, and the plan is to cut down more trees that are, too big or overgrown, sizes that people won't want to cut down or buy, right? So they're looking at replanting a good portion of their front part of their tree farm. So I'm hoping to expand Grandma's Snow where the new trees are, right? Just go all out for that. I'd say that would be the biggest thing because, people, that's the thing that people come to see. And
Yeah.
I think with the bigger venue, I mean, we'll see how it looks with everything on. We haven't plugged everything in yet, but we've laid it out for the most part. With the bigger venue, you almost have to double it or maybe
You have to
even
think
triple it
big. You have to
in
think
terms
big,
of,
you know?
right. Yeah, right. Always, right? But just, in terms of the proportion, right, of just the new venue versus what it was on the street, you have to kind of grow with the venue size. And so we got a lot of power in. We moved all the power from the street over. We have a whopping 800 amps on the tree farm now. So it's a lot of playground room
Oh,
for expansions,
absolutely.
and it gives us peace of mind that we have more than enough for what we need. So just plug and chug, right? Just buy the
That's
light.
right.
We have the power for it. Just need to do it to it. But yeah, I think that's at the top of my list of expanding Grandma's Snow, and then we'll see what else comes our way. But just trying to not do too much at once because that has bitten us in the butt a few times, right? With going too much, but because you have to do it right? You can't
That's true.
do too much in one year, but we'll see what makes sense, what we can
But
do.
every year, as you add something, it's just going to grow. It's
Mhm.
going to grow on its own.
It
And
will.
then as you're talking, I'm thinking it's such a win-win for you guys and Havana because people who are coming out to your light show are going like Thanksgiving night when you guys open. They're like, oh my gosh, let's get our tree while we're here.
Right. It makes
Talking
sense.
about the epitome of a holiday feeling of where you see a light show, you're hearing the music, and you go get your tree and go home and decorate. I mean, my gosh, that's right out of a Hallmark movie, guys.
That's perfect. I'm
So
done.
that is so exciting.
Last thing. Period.
I've got one last question for you all. When guests drive away from the Allison Christmas Spectacular, what feeling or message do you hope stays with them long after the lights go out?
You want to take that? You want me to? Okay.
Well, the message that we want them to walk away with and really think about as they listen to the narrative, as they listen to the music that's in sync with the movement of the lights, is about Jesus and how he paid for all their sins, how he suffered on the cross and rose again from the dead to give them eternal life if they would just trust in Jesus as Savior, because that's the true meaning of Christmas. And
Absolutely.
that's the most wonderful message in all the universe of all time, right
That
there.
is very true.
And that's what the light show and everything focuses on. And we have the cross there with the manger scene, the Mary, the mother of Jesus, Joseph, the foster or stepfather of Jesus, although God is the father of Jesus. And the baby Jesus in the manger, we have that. But we
Aw.
also have the empty tomb beside it, that it wasn't that Jesus stayed dead, but that he rose again 3 days later. And because he rose again from the dead, he's able to give us eternal life. You can't get eternal life from a dead Savior.
That's
So
right.
he rose again. And that is the most wonderful message that we want the folks to really think about and to consider trusting Jesus as Savior.
And I think that is a beautiful message. And I really feel like that this year in particular is just going to be so much more special than previous years because people are not going to be in position to be commercialized and materialized. And I think people are really getting back to the heart of Jesus and understanding that that's what it's all about. And I think when people come and see your lights this year, they're going to be reminded of that in every aspect of the show. And we'll be able to take that away and it'll just reinforce for them, what they're being drawn to if they've been apart from God or what have you. And I think it's so important what you all are doing. I mean, you're providing a beautiful light show, but the message is the most important thing. And just being able to convey that through your lights and the music and then families coming out, it's just all so tied together, and this is why God is blessing you so abundantly in this because of what you guys are doing. So that's a wonderful thing. Now, I said that was my last question, but I do need to ask, like, okay, I'm in North Carolina. If I live closer, I would be there probably every day too. How can people who are you guys going to stream any of this, or is it just strictly for the community there? Or give us some details on that.
Yeah, so we try to do Facebook Lives. We tried that last year. The tree farm owners don't have consistent Wi-Fi out where they are, so that was a bit of a challenge. So what we ended up doing was kind of recording that night's show and then sharing it like after the fact, if you will.
Oh, yeah.
So if we would love to go live, but it doesn't look like we'll be able to like live. But we can pre-record the show and share that. The big thing that we do share is drone footage, because that's the way that you can see it from the air and all at once, right? It's one thing to be on the ground and, to drive through it, but to see it from the air. And I mean, that's a very unique.
That's breathtaking.
Yes.
I would think that gives you the full-fledged picture, where it's even like when you're someone there who's driving through it, you don't even get that picture.
No.
But seeing it in that way, and the magnitude of it, I think people will truly understand and appreciate all the hard work that you guys are putting into this year after year. And, well, I am very excited. Like I said, if I live closer, I would be there opening night, sitting in that traffic, just waiting to go through. I am so excited for you guys. I think this is going to be a special season, just how everything's worked out. And you're not even 2 weeks away now, not even that long. So it's coming quick.
Yes, I know.
And it opens Thanksgiving night, but it runs to what, January 1 or
January 1st, and then January 2nd is takedown right off the bat, and it's full force until April, I think. So we get everything away, but it can be bittersweet during the whole takedown part, but looking forward to the next chapter and the next year, and you're always think of the next thing. That's the silver lining that we try to focus on during that time. So it's just a never-ending cycle, right? And we just love it.
Yes, that's right. Well, thank you guys so much for taking the time. I mean, I know this is just insanely busy right now for you all, round the clock almost. So just to take any time to talk to me about what you're doing, I really appreciate that. It means a lot. So thank you. And best of luck and good luck, although you won't need it. It sounds like everything is just going to go smoothly and it's just going to be a beautiful, beautiful event. So thank you for what you're doing for the community there.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
All right. What an inspiring story of family, community, and the joy that comes from sharing the magic for Christmas. A huge thank you to the Allison family for giving us a glimpse behind the glow of the Allison Christmas Spectacular. Until next time, I'm Dawn Mack, wishing you joy, peace, and a season that shines bright.
Thanks for joining us for another heartwarming episode of The Christmas Connection with your host, Dawn Mack. Stay connected with us all season long at ChristmasConnects.com. Follow us on social media, on Facebook at The Christmas Connection, on Instagram, Threads, and TikTok at Christmas Connection Podcast, on Blue Sky at Christmas Connects, and on X at TCC_XMASPOD. From our hearts to yours, thank you for letting us be part of your holiday season. Until next time, keep believing, keep sharing the joy, and keep that Christmas spirit shining bright.